Email, SMS, and WhatsApp are the three main channels e-commerce brands are using to retain customers and recover abandoned carts. Now, I've spent the last decade managing Shopify Plus brands, and through that time, I built marketing campaigns and generated tens of millions of dollars for over 50 brands and sales across all three of these channels. In this video, I'm going to break down exactly how they compare, the pros, the cons, and what's actually working right now for scaling Shopify brands so you can figure out which channel you should focus on for your brand this year. Let's get into it. Let's start with email because it's the most popular option that most brands have. Email has been the ride or die of e-commerce retention for over 2 decades. Klaviyo is probably the most popular option for email in the Shopify space, with about 84% of $1 million and up Shopify brands using their tool. Every brand has email marketing and every customer expects it. And there are core flows that every brand should have set up: welcome, abandoned cart checkout, post-purchase, browse abandonment, and customer winbacks. There are more, but those are really the core revenue drivers. But the problem is that open rates for email have dropped to around 20 to 30% and have stayed down. Open rates were on the decline even before, but iOS 15 happened and completely changed how open rate data is understood and really can be even relied upon. What happened is Apple started preloading emails in a different server to protect their users' privacy, which means emails get marked as open even when nobody actually opened them other than a computer on iOS's server. So now your open rate data is inflated, unreliable, and you don't know who actually is seeing your messages. You can still see who's clicking, but you can't trust the open data anymore. That being said, there's an even bigger issue with email. Your customers' inboxes are completely flooded. For example, during Black Friday, they're getting buried with hundreds of promotional messages from all different types of brands, and it's really overwhelming. And let's be honest, most of those emails land in the promotions tab anyway, not the primary inbox where they actually have their valuable messages. So even if your email is great, it's competing with everyone else for attention, and it's just getting too hard. Does that mean email is dead? No. Email is still reliable. It's basically free to send. You can test messaging easily, and it works really well for nurturing customers. But relying on email alone to drive retention and recover abandoned carts is where brands are hitting a ceiling, which is why most brands, especially in America, started looking at SMS. So back in 2018, 2019, SMS came along as a solution to email's limitations. The idea was simple. People actually open their text messages, and it's where their friends and family communicate in the States. In fact, 90% of consumers read a text within 3 minutes of receiving it. There's no spam folder or promotions tab. It just goes straight to their phone where they can read it. And because of this, nearly 70% of brands in the Shopify ecosystem now have adopted SMS, which is just up from 30% a couple of years ago. There are enough players and providers now that we have real data, playbooks, and best practices on the channel. And for the most part, it's gone fully mainstream. Most brands have it, and most customers' inboxes are filled with text messages, especially in the US market where SMS is very effective because most customers use iMessage. One brand that I've worked with previously drove 34% more monthly revenue from SMS than email, but what surprised me was that their email performance didn't suffer at all. There was no cannibalization. Email actually grew the same year as SMS was launched and started scaling. So when people warn you that SMS will hurt your email performance or another channel will, the data says otherwise. One of the only downsides to SMS is that it charges you per message, where essentially sending that next email is virtually free. My advice would be to use email to figure out what messaging resonates first, then bring those winners to SMS where you're going to get those higher open rates. But the biggest problem with SMS is it only works in certain markets. Really, it's in the US. Everyone texts. It's become the default way people communicate because everyone uses iMessage. But in Europe, SMS is basically dead. All the consumers in those markets use WhatsApp instead of SMS. Think about how many people you text on a daily basis. So if your brand's expanding internationally, or if you're in Europe and you set up your SMS flows and wonder why no one's responding, this is the reason why. Which brings me to what's actually working for the fastest growing European brands right now: WhatsApp. So let's talk about WhatsApp marketing. First of all, WhatsApp has almost 3 billion daily active users worldwide. It's the #1 messaging app for Europe, the UK, Australia, Latin America, and most Asian countries outside of China. So 80% of your website visitors are probably already using WhatsApp, regardless of whether they're 20 or 60 years old. Because of this, the engagement numbers are completely different from email and SMS, especially in those markets. WhatsApp messages get a 98% open rate compared to the 20 to 30% for email. It's like email in the early 2000s. Everyone opens a WhatsApp message now, and they're excited to get those messages, and it's novel from brands. Like SMS, there's no spam folder or promotions tab. You also get a home screen notification every time you send a message because it's right along that core inbox from everyone that they know, so they're really opening the app a lot. But what makes WhatsApp fundamentally different from SMS is that it's conversational. SMS is a broadcast channel where your customers can't respond, especially in Europe. So when you send a message, maybe they read it, but that's the end of the interaction. it's not a conversational channel where they can go back and forth. But WhatsApp is, and by design. It's built to be a back and forth communication channel, and that's the exact experience that customers expect. So when a customer gets a WhatsApp message from your brand, they actually reply, have a real conversation, and actually start to develop a real relationship with your brand that's more than just sales. And that changes the entire dynamic of how you can recover abandoned cart flows, handle pre-sales questions, or send campaigns. The pricing model is also completely different. With SMS, you pay a per message sent fee, so every single text that you send and receive costs money. But with WhatsApp, you pay only once to start a conversation in a 24-hour window. So if the customer responds within that 24-hour windows, you can keep messaging that customer back and forth for free and have a real conversation with the customer. It doesn't cost you more money. As an example of a customer sends 5 questions about your product on SMS, that's 5 messages that you're going to pay for. In WhatsApp, that's 1 conversation. Now, I'll be honest, why I'm so bullish on this is in early 2025, I acquired Coco AI, a WhatsApp marketing platform for Shopify brands. I did that because I saw the exact same patterns that we saw back in 2019 in the States around SMS. Back then, everyone had the same objections to SMS as they do to WhatsApp today. It's too intrusive, only young people use it, my customers won't sign up. I'm worried about the brand perception of entering this channel. But the brands that ignored those objections and figured out SMS early crushed it, and crushed it more than everyone else, adding 15% to their revenue on average for their brand coming from SMS. And we're already seeing the exact same outcome from the 600 European brands that we work with at Coco that I saw really early in SMS in 2019. The brands that move early will have a massive advantage because they'll have a bigger list, their customers will be more engaged, and the customers will be more used to experience. In 2 years, I believe WhatsApp will be 15% of revenue for most European and Asia and Australian brands, the same way that SMS became the dominant channel for US brands. So the question is whether you're going to be ahead of the curve or be left playing catch up. Now, if you want to see how WhatsApp works for your store, you can try Coco AI completely free for 30 days by clicking the first link in the description below. You can use it to recover abandoned carts, send campaigns with 80% open rates, and let AI answer your customer questions 24/7 in 96 languages. We even guarantee a 10x ROI within 30 days or your money back. So again, click the link below, and if you want to see some automations you can set up with WhatsApp just like your email automations, except they actually convert better and people will actually see them, then watch this next video.